goes back to the house, the home, because when these teachers, if this kid, I mean, again, in my kid's school, this is what'll happen. If my kid acts up,
Yeah,
is this
Blaze.
it?
Yeah, that's it.
Uh,
Put some volume, bro.
So cut it off at the 153 or whatever what Demas wants.
yeah.
What?
Is this playing now? Or?
Yeah, but no, go start from the beginning, Blaze. At 000.
Well, okay. This part right here is where he starts talking about his
Yeah, go
immigration
for it.
status.
Yes.
Yeah.
I ain't got no voice.
Yeah, no sound, buddy.
Can you? All right. I'm trying to fix it so it doesn't shock. You know what I mean? So
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Right.
but you know
What I was
something?
saying. Oh,
I got it.
ahead.
A immigrant. I didn't become a U.S. citizen until about 2-3 years ago. I did move to America though, like in my late teens, and now technically I have lived in America longer than any place else. And again, I was sworn in and everything, and it was a freaking beautiful, amazing experience. So it's cool going to events like this and actually like putting my heart on my chest and being all in. It's a beautiful anthem, dude. My family, we're so lucky we got over here, man. I can't express that enough. Chris Stapleton has one of the best voices I've ever heard, so I'm excited to see what he's going to do. This may have nothing on Fergie's performance in the All-Star game back in the day, the NBA All-Star game, but I'm sure it's going to be fun.
To honor
Cut it.
My bad. I'm replaying it because I forgot to turn on the audio onto my headphones.
He does pretty good.
to honor America with the performance of the national anthem, 8-time Grammy Award winner Chris Stapleton.
How many times?
8-time Grammy Award winner Chris Stapleton.
All right, homie's no joke, dude. He's the truth.
Oh, say, can you see?
what was
That's
the
the
point?
right, Dean?
Yeah, the hunger. Shut the video off, bro. The humbleness, the love for a country, man. You know, it wasn't fake, man. He told you.
It wasn't fake, but I certainly didn't
he's not
get
an
into
he's
all
not
the
an
depth that
immigrant.
you're
man.
getting into there.
No, and he's not an immigrant. He's a citizen. He has no more right than what you have or what I have.
Yeah.
He did it the right way. He admired this video. He took an oath. What oath do these kids take, man? They won't even see the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, I mean,
That's Gestapo too, right? Because you're making them put their hand on the heart and making them recite stuff. That's
I'm
Gestapo.
not saying that.
Yeah, you are.
No, I didn't. I sang that
if
shit
you
my
look
whole
at
life.
it.
As a matter of fact, this is a true story, dude. This is not even a joke. Me, another one of my employees, Brian, and another guy, Homer, who is a military dude himself. They hung an American flag. I'll take a picture of it tomorrow in the shop, and we all sat there and did the Pledge of Allegiance to it. So,
Fucking A.
I swear to God, I'm not even kidding you.
Fucking A.
Us three in front of the whole shop, everybody's like, what's going on? And we just did it. It was just one of those things. So I'm totally all for that. What I'm saying is you were basically saying if somebody disrupts the class, you're gonna drag them out of the class. Like you're gonna have cops to do that.
Yes, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little excessive.
No, why?
Well,
Why?
when D
if
and I went to school,
This is what I was getting at before I was cut off 75 times. Check this out. If your kid is disrupting class and needs to be ripped out, he needs his ass whooped when he gets home, or he needs to be grounded from his video games or his YouTube or his phone or whatever it is, and you need to straighten his ass out because it's not the job of the school to discipline your kid. You should be able to do that. That's my point.
I agree to that.
You should be at home. You should be at home going, hey, pledge allegiance to this flag if that's what you want. I mean, you should be raising your kid. Other people shouldn't have to raise your kid. That's my point. It's more on the parents and more on school. It's more on the parents and the society around them that has become complacent and taken for granted everything that we have and has installed that into our children. It's not their fault. That's what I'm getting.
You're not going to get an argument from me from there, but we were a little bit more disciplined in school. And one of the reasons why we were a little disciplined in school is because we would get dragged into the fucking principal's office and they would smack the fuck out of us. They'd
Yeah, but
take
all
the
right.
ruler
So
and whack your
you're
fucking hand. So
you're
you would
only
be disciplined in school.
yeah, but you're only like what 10,
It
25 years older
it
than
don't
me, Blaze?
matter.
No, I'm only kidding.
Listen,
Seriously, dude. They
I
weren't
thought
whacking
about it.
your hand with a ruler when you were in school. Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck, they weren't.
Yeah, they were.
Fuck, they weren't.
Dude,
Yeah, they
10 years
were.
before me.
Yes,
Dude,
they
I'm
were.
fucking telling
All right,
you.
well,
Yes, they were.
Here's the difference, too. All right, so my teachers didn't have to do that because my father would. Like, if I came home and got in trouble,
I
he'd beat
understand
my
that.
ass.
And I understand it, and my mother would too. But there's two things that you're looking at there. Number one, I'm gonna get fucked up at home by my mom. My mom's gonna beat my ass because I was, wasn't good in school, and I got a swollen up fucking wrist because the principal laid his fucking ruler into my hand. So now when I go back to school, I'm thinking twice about if I'm gonna act up because I'm gonna get it once from the principal's office and another one from home. Okay, and I didn't, and there was nobody shooting up fucking schools, pal. You know what I mean? There
Well,
was, there was
all right,
nobody doing that shit because,
and that's fine. Either
in
way,
Donnie's
Place.
case, the kid is just being a piece of shit. Period. Okay, because again, everything starts at home. Everything starts at home. He's probably a weasel at home. His parents can't discipline him, and the kid's gonna act up in school. Okay, and I'm telling you, back in my day, that kid would have got dragged into the principal's office and smacked around right then and there.
you're getting off track here. My point is, it needs to start at home.
Yes,
They
that's what I
never.
just said.
I mean, we can't expect teachers to do this. Jesus, I mean, like you said, they can't even discipline anybody in school anymore with anything.
Right,
And
because
it's not that's not going to change. They're not going to. That'll never change.
that's what they instilled. Donnie, I'll get to you right after this break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back right after a quick break. Stick around.
This is Jerry from the Neutral Corner on FFN Media. Every Thursday night, 7 to 8, catch my show live. We are talking with legends, we're talking with professionals, we're talking with amateurs, we're also talking about gyms and the different programs they have. You can catch us live on FFN Media, 7 to 8 p.m. Not only can you catch us live, you can actually ask questions in the comments and interact with our guests. Hope to see you then.
My God. My God.
Hey guys, Nick Parsons here. Come check my show Unbox Thoughts out. Live every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. on the FFN Radio Network page.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking around for more the way we see it. It is some difficulties. YouTube is really giving us some problems, and I'm pretty certain the reason why it is because they just spent billions of dollars on the NFL Network channel, NFL Sunday Ticket, and they're just going to scramble. Everything that we try to share, they're going to scramble it up. So I apologize for that. Let me bring the boys back in. How you doing, Jim? Donnie, Mr. D. Why don't we go with the Biden administration And did Biden bullshit everybody at his address? Donnie?
Donnie's in another world.
Donnie's not here.
No, Donnie's not back.
D, want to open that up?
On what were we going with again?
The State of
Biden
the Union.
administration.
Yeah, the State of the Union.
Do you have the State of the Union?
I'm trying to see if I again, it's not gonna let me share it. But let's see here.
Oh man, that sucks. Yeah, I mean there were definitely some exaggerations.
Definitely.
And some kind of outright bullshit, but I mean that's how they spin it all the time, of course. And some of the stuff that he says, it could be technically true, but again, I definitely not completely truthful. What's up? You still having issues with your video there?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Just stay with it.
Yeah. So one of the things that they were talking about was the what do you call it? I can't even his deficit cutting and all that stuff. Where my favorite analogy somebody told me a while ago, I forgot what it was. It's kind of like the way they talk about trimming the deficit and all of that stuff is it's like when your wife goes out shopping with her friends and there's a sale on shoes. So she goes and buys like 4 pairs for like $200 and then comes home and tells you that she saved you $200 because they were on sale. It's kind of like the same thing because everything's like a projected balance of so much money. And then in the end, they just come back and reanalyze it and say it was less and tell you they cut the deficit. It's a bunch of spun bullshit, you know? So,
all right, let's take a peek.
What do you got? Is it working?
Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, good to see you guys up there. Members of Congress. By the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home. Got to work something out here. Members of the Cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans. I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you. And I want to congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader,
here we go.
Hakeem Jeffries. He won in spite of the fact I campaigned for him. Congratulations to the longest serving leader in the history of the United States. 12 million new jobs, more jobs created, of always moving forward, of never ever giving up. It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger than we got into it. Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years.
Go.
Hey, I got this. The first one.
Turn the video off.
The jobs report. That all that is postings, man. That has nothing to do with actual people. This is data they're generating from job postings, not people secured with jobs. I just wanted to throw that out there. That's my 30.
All right. I mean, it's also doesn't take into account all these jobs that they're talking about. Half of them were lost because of COVID to begin with.
Exactly.
So it's not actually adding new jobs. It's just people, being able to go back to work. That's it.
Oh, 100%
That's
agree.
exactly what it is. Go ahead, Donnie.
No, 100% agree. He's just counting and he's throwing stats because those are stats. They're true. Those are true stats that he can say he's done. Yes, because the economy was really from 2 years ago when you made some shit decisions. You're blaming. It sounds like you're still blaming Trump for some stuff you did, dude. Own up. Grab him down there and own up, man. You own it. And I agree with Miss Tammy St. Pierre right away. There's our commander in chief talking trash about black and white and bringing color into it when you're supposed to be the one uniting us, but sounds like you dividing us. That's okay.
Right.
I'm done.
Next.
I agree.
Yeah, right.
Hit the video, Blaze.
Moving on. Guys, I'm doing my fucking job, guys. Hold on.
Well, I'm going to get that immigrant. He does it by himself, produces.
Because of you all. Because of the American people. It's important. And in fact, I signed over 300 bipartisan pieces of legislation since becoming president. From reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love. And to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well. I think folks, you all are as formed as I am, but I think the people sent us a clear message. Fighting for the sake of fighting, power for the sake of power, conflict for the sake of conflict gets us nowhere. That's always been my vision of our country, and I know it's many of yours. To restore the soul of this nation, to rebuild the backbone of America, America's middle class, and to unite the country. We've been sent here to finish the job, in my view. For decades, the middle class has been hollowed out in more than, and not one administration, but for a long time. Too many good-paying manufacturing jobs move overseas. Factories closed down. Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be. And along the way, something else we lost: pride, our sense of self-worth. I ran for president to fundamentally change things, to make sure our economy works for everyone, so we can all feel that pride in what we do. To build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. I know everyone's kidding me for always quoting my dad, but my dad used to say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. There's real products in creating American jobs. Folks, inflation has been a global problem because the pandemic disrupted our supply chains, and Putin's unfair and brutal war in Ukraine disrupted energy.
So here goes my 30. He even made it a point, Jim, where he talked about we've lost our pride and our selfless worth. And that's where I'm thinking that program plays. I'm sorry. I can't talk.
Donnie?
Okay, now that you cut the video, we're good. Once again, I hear more divisions between Republicans and Democrats. If we can work together in the last one, come out here and say, hey, I'm looking forward to working with y'all so we can pass another 300 pieces of legislation and bullshit ass legislation that was already in the pipeline. So whatever there. Now, second of all, let's talk about pride in America, pride in our jobs. That kind of goes what Demas said earlier about the oath. Pride in America? Shit, not me. That's not what I left my blood, sweat, and tears on foreign soil for. The nation we live in now? No, sir. I just got to say it. Go, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not disagreeing with anything that you're saying, D. I see it all the time. I mean, people even that you have to like teach people what pride is and what things that, you know what I mean? Like it's sad. It is. Nobody has the pride that they used to have, at least not in a lot of the people that I see at my jobs. A lot of them just don't know. You have to teach them. Like, dude, this is what you consider to be good, you know, and it's the same thing with everything in just again, taking things for granted. People don't understand how good we actually have it. And, you know, I don't know. I don't disagree with you, dude.
Go ahead, Donnie. You had H.
No, just real quick, I want to say about his job things about production and manufacturing. You ain't done shit for them other than to tell them you either get right over there in them other countries where it's cheaper for you, or you come over here where it's more expensive. The jobs of production and manufacturing aren't going to come back until we partner with North and South borders. Okay, done.
Yeah, I agree.
State of the Union.
Demis, you got anything?
No.
Okay, go, Blaze.
Got it.
Look, the Inflation Reduction Act is also the most significant investment ever in climate change. Ever. Lowering utility bills, creating American jobs, leading the world to a clean energy future. I visited the devastating aftermath of record floods, droughts, storms, and wildfires.
Hey,
from
pause.
Arizona to New Mexico to all the way up to the Canadian border.
Speaking of he's talking about environments. There you go. I know we're getting to this later, but it was him, right, that cut the pipeline, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So
and blew one up.
Yeah, well, technically, we don't know for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right, but
we can talk about that too. All right, so let's cancel pipelines and make sure we do everything by the safe railroad system and protect our climate. And you can go ahead after that. I just want to throw that in there because I think we used to transport like dangerous chemicals and stuff in pipelines and things that don't really break. And, you know, trains can kind of derail themselves sometimes. But we'll talk about that later.
Yes,
just
Jim.
how much we care about the environment. Go ahead.
Right. Where's Mr. Buttigieg, the Department of Transportation?
Buttigieg.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever,
man.
Just the
whatever.
Buttigieg.
Where the hell is he right now?
Donnie, you can call him whatever you want, bro.
I can't wait to talk about that. It's way more interesting to me than this. But go ahead.
Well, we got 15 more minutes on this now, and this is a dying topic that we need to pick up. So,
let's talk about let's just talk about overall the State of the Union then. It was garbage. All you did was turn around and talk trash to whatever counterpart you want to do, try to throw more crap on Trump and his so-called, classified documents and his mishandling. But every time that dude seems to open his mouth right now, it's like that adage they talk about when you want to point at someone, you got three coming back at you. That's what it seems like to me. This dude has done nothing for our economy, but other than issuing sanctions and rules and pass legislation that has done nothing to help the middle class that he so worries about, that's been bludgeoned, because all we do is continue to shrink. All the taxes and everything he thinks he's going to save us are not going to save us, because they're just going to, all these manufacturers and everybody are just going to put those taxes down to the consumer like they always do. So how are we supposed to get out of this when every index, we talked about it before, every index says we're getting ready for a recession if we don't want to count ourselves in it. But anybody that's associated with Biden talks, oh, it's okay, we're going to have a soft landing. Those that are not associated with Biden or the White House, they say the exact opposite. I really don't understand where this guy sits up here and he talks all this junk. He takes a State of the Union address to talk shit to his counterparts. but you're supposed to be the one that leads us. You're supposed to be the epitome of professionalism. I don't understand how we could vote for this dude and why anybody would want 4 more years of this guy. Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just laughing because I mean, you're making all the points. I mean, it was just to pat me on the back and spin a bunch of lies and bullshit. Most of the stuff in there, again, like you can say the jobs numbers, yeah, they're technically true, but I mean, if you can sit here and go, yeah, we're in a better position, like in most metrics you can actually like measure. We're not in a better place than we were 2 years ago. And if it wasn't for the pandemic bullshit, we would be in an even better place. So yeah, when he took over, things were definitely falling apart to a degree, but you couldn't go anywhere but up. And all the jobs that were lost that came back, you didn't build any of that. Those are people just going back to work.
They totally destroyed the restaurant industry. Okay, so those are those numbers right there. Okay, everybody going back to the job that they used to have, or going to another restaurant establishment. That's those numbers right there.
But they also
the entire restaurant industry was destroyed. Okay.
And on top of that, again, it doesn't count the people who completely dropped out of that labor force. So your unemployment rate that they're bragging about and all these other things, that's not a real number either, because half of the people maybe obviously not half, but a good chunk of the people that were in the labor market are no longer there, meaning they're not even looking for jobs. So they come off of those sheets. So
right.
So it's a smaller pool. So obviously, as soon as you start clipping people out of the pool, your percentage goes up automatically. So there's a lot of ways they twist and turn numbers. Nothing he said was like, yes, we're united, we're going to go. I mean, all of his poll numbers, he's trended downwards in every single poll for the last, I don't know how many months. And every time we turn around, it's a spy balloon, it's files, it's his son. I mean, there's nothing about this guy that you look at and, there's no pride and ethics in him himself. So whatever. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah, and go ahead, Donnie. I'm sorry.
No, you go first, Demas. I'm reading the comments now. I'm trying to understand. Go.
Oh, okay. Shit. So the Social Security and the Medicare, he threw that out there in the State of the Union, and all that is a scare. No Republican or no Democrat wants to do it. But if you look back at the archives back in the late 80s, early 90s, when he was a loudmouth senator, he actually threatened on the floor, and I was going to go look this up to present it, but he threatened Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits, EBT, and he says that I was not bullshitting.
Yeah, I believe it. It wouldn't be bad if you could find it. I'd like to hear. I love when I hear stuff like that. It's people just absolute hypocrisy again. What are you gonna say, Don?
Oh, I think this guy is nothing but hypocrisy. Because like Dean was saying, you go to his Senate days, he was attacking everything that he says he's a stand up for now. He was attacking all the different little groups of, like, for instance, BLM, and how everybody has their all these different program or groups that they belong to, or these so-called movements, right? He was one of the first ones to step on there and say, no, they're bad for America. They're this, they're that. We can't have them, blah, blah, blah. Every bit of it. All the social welfare programs that he's over here approving and signing into legislation. Yeah, he was against half of them. So he's nothing but a hypocrite. But he's up at the top. And what really irks me about that whole State of the Union, like Mr. Jeffrey said, it's a sausage McBullshit with egg. He did nothing but talk trash to everybody else and sit there and give me this thing about, here's my moment. Look at me. I'm the president. And what are you going to do? Yeah. It was just all about him. And I really got nothing out of that other than some data that I could look up on my own, and him talking, just gloating on himself. That's all I got out of that.
Yeah. And again, most of it was either exaggeration or just a twist of the way they manipulate the numbers to make it sound
Right.
better than it is. You know,
And when you talk about those
you're
numbers,
sitting
let's
here
talk
telling
about-
me, "Oh, I cut the deficit," where you just signed a $1.7 trillion bill into law. So thanks for
To
saving
cover
us
it.
all the money.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah,
And he's
thanks for
saying he's
saving us
cutting the
all that money.
deficit. But yet we're about to go into Senate hearings, and you got the Treasury Secretary talking about how we're going to default on our stuff if we don't raise the debt ceiling. How are you fixing this? And the numbers you talk about with the job report, let's take away all the people that are on some of them social government assistance programs now that didn't go back to the workforce. Because y'all know as well as I do, talking to people when they were handing out all them pandemic unemployment assistance checks and all that other crap, there was dudes out there making $3-4 grand a month, man. And why the hell would
Dude,
I
I
go back
knew-
to work?
Yeah, I used to always see there was like two guys who definitely didn't need the money, like buying new pipes for their bike and stuff. I'm like, dude, what the frick, you know?
Yeah. But how about all those programs, those numbers too? So yeah, his jobs numbers are complete bogus. You
Yeah.
can go debunk those in 10 different ways.
Yeah.
His relationship, talk about building relationships and whatever with foreign nations. They sit back and laugh at us. Why China? They're going to sit there and say that was a weather balloon, which we all knew that. We all knew it. All this stuff, all this so-called cylinder that was floating over Alaska and the Canadian area now, those really look like observations to me. Those look like tactical observation maneuvers, i.e., I'm going to float something over there. I'm going to put something out there, and I want to see how you react. Because then I'm going to see what I should do. Or I'm going to find a different way to attack you. You know
Along
what I mean?
with that's a whole nother
Yeah,
topic
exactly.
we can go into. But even with just those things in mind, it's another thing he didn't even address that whole situation. His basic, the only I guess airtime he even gave it was something along the lines was, and I probably messing the quote up, but something along the lines of he doesn't want conflict with China. He wants more of a partnership or whatever. I don't remember the words he used exactly, but it was competition, not conflict. That's what it was. I mean, come on, dude. These guys just flew a balloon over us, and you shot it down, and you're not even gonna. That's how you're gonna play that situation off. If that isn't spin, then I don't know what is, man.
I don't think it's spin. I think he's compromised.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's very
He
possible.
is compromised.
Well,
Let's
I
take a
can't
listen.
wait.
Let's take a listen.
Did at home, which is going to cost me politically. When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time. Somebody has to tell me in here how.
Well,
Nice.
I mean, come on. Listen to the
Yeah,
fucking
bro.
prick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Good call, D. Good call, bro.
Yeah.
But that shows the hypocrisy of all of them, because we could probably bust out all of them in some kind of speech somewhere where they're talking about how they didn't. But yeah, you're going to go cut those programs. You're going to cut those programs. But I would rather them, like the Republicans, somebody come out and tell me that you're actually trying to reform it for a purpose so it won't become insolvent, so it won't go away, because we've all known the numbers. Speaking of numbers, there's more people drawing on Social Security now. There's going to be more people drawing on it later in the future. And at some point, we're not going to have enough in the tank to make our due out.
Well, not if we
So
can
that's
get a
what
couple
they
more
want.
COVIDs in.
Right, but that's what or you start war with China. Which,
that'll help clear
for the
out some
poll
of the field.
question. For the poll question, I say 2 years tops. We're at war. By
All
the
right,
end
guys.
of 2025, we're at war with China.
We're
Okay,
gonna
here we go.
touch base on that after our next break, but we got a few minutes, and I just got this Fox News update or whatever. It's this kind of stuff blows my mind. Okay, CDC reports 60% increase in high school girls seriously considering of planning suicide from sadness. Okay, And then you get pricks like this that are hard liberals that say shit like this and put this in other people's heads to say that it's true. School bullying that Republicans encourage. Where?
No.
Go ahead, Donnie.
No, don't go. There we go with that shit. Who wrote that? Because if Maxine Waters wrote that, she's full of shit. You the biggest bully out there talking all that junk. That's what I'm saying. These politicians or all these going to say, oh, this is bad, this is bad. I can't comprehend who is their publicist or their media people that has it going. And all these times they're in here, they know they're on a microphone all the time. You've got to have something that makes a pause from here to here. There's got to be a filter because they talk so much time unfiltered that they just tell on themselves. Why would I believe that they're doing anything for me?
They got another cat that had a great point. He's like, the schools are mostly run by liberals. They are the ones filling our children with this crap. You know what I mean? And he's responded to the other person. He's like, I get it. You're a liberal. You blame a conservative. I mean, guys, our fucking young kids are killing themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. That goes back to
I
what
can't.
you said
Why?
earlier.
Why is a young kid killing? Listen, man. If my kids were at the 10 and 13 years of age or whatever, I'd be like, look, man, I know we can't go to the mall. I know we can't go see a movie, Johnny and Sally. You know what I mean? But look, go dig a hole with your brother in the backyard. You know what I mean? Go play catch with your brother. I would have found something to do with my kids in the house, whatever. I've watched my wife do it for years with her nieces and nephews. We don't have any grandchildren yet. You know what I mean? She would always find activities to do if it was raining out or whatever. I don't understand why these kids are sitting there saying, I'm going to kill myself because I'm sad. Guys,
dude,
somebody
help. It's because of the freaking social media shit, dude. When you grew up, you didn't know that there was a kid your age that could play and sing Rush on a guitar. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You played the guitar and you're like, wow, I'm pretty good at it. And then these kids go online and I don't know if that's part of it, but you're talking about depression, dude. I mean, how depressing is it when everybody's got a filter on, looks beautiful, and then you look in the mirror, you're like, wow, I got a zit in my forehead. I look like trash. You know what I'm saying? And there's all, again, keyboard warriors that start all this shit. It's not bullying like it used to be in school. You know what I mean? Where somebody comes up, push you in a locker, and you can turn around and blast them in the face. Nowadays, it's a bunch of anonymous kids or these people who bully these kids online and shit. You know what I mean? There's a lot more. I mean, it's the truth. There's a lot more pressure and stress on kids nowadays with all of that social media shit and just being able to have everything at your fingertips. I mean, than there ever was. Exactly what you talk about. Go dig a hole. That was fun. That's not like fun to these kids today. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're grown up
I'll dig the hole with my left hand, and I got my phone here in my right hand.
There's a picture of it and sending it on Instagram, and you know what I'm saying? It's a different thing. But that's honest to God, man. I truly believe that Facebook, every social media thing, and just the ability of people.
All right, I got to take a break, Jim.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. When we come back, Donnie, you're up, and we're going to touch base on topic 2, Chinese balloon, satellite, green laser. This shit is very important, guys. I need everybody to be on their toes, okay, because shit's going to go down here. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, right after a few ads.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Neutral Corner on FFN Media. Every Thursday night, 7 to 8, catch my show live. We are talking with legends, we're talking with professionals, we're talking with amateurs, we're also talking about gyms and different programs they have. You can catch us live on FFN Media, 7 to 8 p.m. Not only can you catch us live, you can actually ask questions in the comments and interact with our guests. Hope to see you then.
Hey guys, Nick Parsons here. Come check my show Unbox Thoughts out. Live every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. on the FFN Radio Network page.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to The Way We See It right here on FFN Radio Network. We got a new show starting this Wednesday. It's called Politicking with Mr. B. Don't forget to check that out, 7 to 8 p.m. every Wednesday night right here on FFN Radio Network. Look, ladies and gentlemen, for me, this is a serious topic, okay? Listen, the balloons, we're shooting down unidentified objects, UFOs, unidentified flying object. Okay, and I'm a little bit worried. Could be a possibility that we could go to war with China. Let me bring the boys back in, and with Mr. Jim, Mr. Donnie, and Mr. D. Mr. D, I'm gonna go with you. I mean, how? Listen, the president of the United States is compromised, Mr. D. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
okay, so if you brought this up on last week's show, Mr. D, and it was an excellent point, is if it wasn't for a civilian taking pictures of this balloon, do you think the American people would have been told about it?
I think you know the answer. Hell no. Hell no and fuck no. My biggest concern of the balloons, man, is that they're they have to do with the weather. I can't say it right now.
Meteorologists, yeah.
Yes, and they're figuring out the jet stream. That's all they're doing, dude. That is all they're doing, gathering data for the jet stream. So when they start shooting the missiles,
Interesting.
Okay. So that's pretty interesting. So you're saying these objects that we're shooting down, they're weather balloons?
I wouldn't say they're weather balloons. I'm pretty sure they're getting data. Back in the old army days, the artillery, when they were ready to shoot, the next higher level would send a meteorology balloon up to check wind currents and all that stuff because it does
Affect the shell,
impact.
the velocity of
Yes,
the shell, yes.
yes, and where it's going to land and stuff. And I really think China's doing the same thing.
For what? The ICBMs?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a path, and you want to go with the less resistance.
Okay, all right. I guess I understand what you're saying a little bit here. Now you're saying that there might be meteorologist balloons,
Yes, and they're
but the
very
government's coming out and saying that if that's what it was, why ain't they just coming out saying, "Oh, oops, we accidentally shot down meteorologist balloons"?
because there's more to it, Blaze. There's more to
Well,
it.
that's the question that we're trying to find out here. We will be going to war with China soon. Be prepared because 95% of all crap comes from there, and our stores will have empty shelves when the goods get all bought up. The manufacturers, nothing here in the U.S. anymore.
Yeah. Was that a comment from a viewer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a comment from a pretty intelligent cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, come on, Donnie, come on, man.
What? I agree with Demas. I told y'all, this is a chess piece move by China and by Russia, by some other people. They're paying attention because look at a nerve agent. Let's talk about it. Think about it. Nerve agents last or miss. They last on your body. They last on your clothes. They get into water. They get into food. You can inhale them.
Shit.
Skin contact, eye contact. How long does rain? Rain comes at what? How many feet down and into what? I mean, It comes down. It's a liquid. So if you really wanted to do some damage, and I followed that first balloon, and I figure out how to make all these little balloons with all these so-called cylinder objects, which could look like, I don't know, what's a bomb? It's a cylinder object. A missile is a cylinder object. And the way we can control stuff, now all of a sudden you got all these green lights coming across where NASA or whatever says it's not their satellite that covers the Earth. I mean, there's too much there. There's just so many things. There's too much there that try to say China's not, planning out some kind of attack or some kind of military move.
So you think?
And then why would that Air Force general want a requirement to say, hey, are we ready to go? I need to know what you need by 2025. to go to war with China. Got Marines in Taiwan right now doing joint training or humanitarian aid, all kind, whatever they want to label it. Come on, man.
But who do you think's gonna? You think they're gonna strike us first?
I think he would. I think he's got the balls to do it because he thinks he's got the military. He's got the ballistic missiles to reach. And there's already in the same report, some of them say that they have more missiles than us. We don't have the resources to stop everything they shoot if they were to shoot everything. So, I mean, come on now.
I still don't see where they benefit from it.
Who knows?
We owe them so much money. I mean, we're like one of their biggest, they export a ton of shit to us. Why would they ever want to just start dropping bombs on us?
Why did anybody want to start war? Why did Vladimir Putin go into Ukraine? We don't know all the true reasons.
Well, he thought he could win, and it was a smaller landmass. He thought it was going to be an easy fight, and now he's getting his teeth kicked in because we're helping and everything else, But at the same time, I think that was a different, when I think about
why are we helping Ukraine?
But
they're not a part of NATO. Go ahead, Donnie.
My question is, why did he go? We don't know. We can't sit here and say we know exactly why Putin did what he did. Nobody knows but Putin and a few select people around him. You can say the same thing about China. It might not benefit him. Do you think Putin was thinking about benefits when he went into Ukraine? You damn right he was, because he thought he was getting more landmass. If China wants to expand and go out, I mean, they're getting more landmass. There's something there.
Yeah,
Are we going to find out? No.
I just don't see, like I said, it doesn't even make sense financially.
No,
you're going to get more landmass, but what do you, if Xi Jinping thinks he's going to just come over here and kick our ass and take over, that's never going to happen. It'd be 100 years worth of fighting.
Well, it will.
You know what I mean? I don't care if there's 3 billion of them over there. Well, again, come on, dude. You think that everybody's just going to be like, oh, okay, here you go. No, it's not going to happen, man. So my point is, if China were to come over and drop missiles on us, first of all, it's going to be an air fight anyway. It's not going to be on land. If they ever start firing people over here, it doesn't matter how many of them there are. We're still going to be. We'll be fighting for hundreds of years. They're not just going to take us out. So there's no financial gain there. They're not going to win anything. It's just going to be a massive financial drain on them and a loss of life.
Well, look, it depends on who wants to be crazy enough. I mean, firing nuclear weapons. These countries
but nobody wins, dude.
Listen,
nobody wins that game.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Nobody does. Nobody wins that game. All right. So
that's my point.
They're certainly not going to be able to come over here and invade us. That's a no. Point. Okay. All right. So now you want to kill us? Just shut down the products, Jim. This is not a hard conversation. You want to put us? You want to fucking bury us down? Stop sending their goods.
You're making my points for me.
Yeah, I know I am, but I'm saying I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm agreeing with you.
I thought you were arguing with me for a second. No. I'm like, yeah, you're exactly right.
I mean,
yeah, they have us by the balls. If there was no better way to show that than through COVID, half of the shit got shut down, and we were like, I can't get my X, Y, and Z anymore.
All right, guys. So I've been working diligently try to get this gentleman online. And I apologize to some of the viewers, a little bit of errors and stuff like that, but it is a live show. So I'd like to bring on a gentleman that's going to have a new show here on the FFN network. Some people are like, oh, what is it, the same show as yours? No, he's by himself, and he has his own take on things. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Mr. B into the show. And how you doing there, Mr. B?
I'm hanging in there. I'm still pretty much in all together in one piece.
Right.
Okay. So you finally apologize to all of your members for the staff.
That's all right. Yeah, that's all right. My systems certainly don't like Apple phones and stuff like that. So So we're touching base on the China, the weather balloon. Could this turn into war and things like that? And you're our guest tonight, so I'll let you jump in and touch a little bit base on that, and the boys will. We have what's called a private chat in front of you, Mr. B. If you can
Yeah,
see
I see
that.
that. There's a
All right,
jam going on
and
probably
all
now.
right. And when anybody wants to come in and has something to say, they're going to put an H next to their name, and that's letting you know and me know to producer / guest with you that somebody else has something to add. With that being said, so give us a little take on how you see all of this, Mr. B.
How do I see all of this? I'm going to sum it up really easy for you folks, and pardon me if my language is a little bit strong, but the idea of going to war with China is a bunch of electric horse shit. How many billion people does China have versus us? How many thermonuclear devices do they have versus we? It's a bunch of electric horse shit, everybody. Come on. What is half the world liquid shit for brains or something thinking about this? This isn't going to happen. China's throwing balloons, doing things. They're laughing their butts off at us.
Yeah,
They've got an entire city full of buildings that have nothing in them, but they're standing around laughing their ass off at us. And why? Because we've got Sleepy Joe in the office. We've got people like Buttigieg or whatever his name is. We've got that guy that likes to play dress up in the office. We've got an FBI that doesn't know why they want to go and raid a former president's place, but they go and do it anyway. And then when they go and raid a sitting president's house, they call up and order tea first.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, no, I don't think.
You really think that we're going to be going to war? No, they're sitting around, they're cracking open their beers, eating their popcorn, and saying, "What's next?"
Yeah,
Donnie,
no. Joe Biden's going. What's next to them? Because they got him bent over a barrel.
Donnie,
Demas, you got something first?
No, brother, I'm good, man.
Okay, so I'll tell you straight up. You guys are talking war, and you're thinking war like it's some conventional war. We're gonna sit here and shoot at each other, and we're gonna have these Marines force on force type war. You're not gonna have that. China's fucking with us for economical purposes. Because understand this, and Jim, you just said it earlier, how it put a stamp on it, how we controlled stuff. And oh yes, Mr. Souza, we're still talking comments in the corner. I see you. But anyways, it's economical purposes. We owe them so much money, so why don't I just go destroy you little by little and make you rely on me more? That little Airstream with that balloon that went across the military bases, guess what it also went across? The middle of our farmland. I go explosive stuff and I laid it down. I go crop dust that area. I just killed off food source for you. For how long? Depending on what I put there, depends on how long you're not going to grow that crop again on that land. So now I got to force you to grow something else, or you go without it.
Can I interject something here for you, sir?
Huh?
Can I interject something for you?
Go ahead, Rick.
If you look at what's going on in our nation, we are under attack, a multi-prong. Our children are getting led around by the nose into socialism and whatever else. Our children, our brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers are going around and falling by the wayside because of needles stuck in our arms. And there are other people that are running around, turning around, tearing down our history and turning around and saying slavery built everything. And where's it all coming from? Where is it all coming from?
The White House.
No.
Us as people.
Think about this, especially the opioid things, the seditious and undermining communism overtones and so forth. Where's it all coming from?
It's the media.
Think about it. Where's the poppy seeds growing? Where are the opium dens?
Afghanistan.
China and their friends are aiming to take us down, and they know that you can't win a war on more than two fronts at the same time. So what are they doing? They're attacking our children, trying to change our history and turn them into socialists. They're throwing socialists into every aspect of political rings that they possibly can. And what else are they doing? They're doing overt things. Because why? Everybody's turning around, chasing their butts, and kissing the butts of every whack job liberal thing that comes out of somebody else's mouth, and they're welcoming it. And why? And why? Because we're all sitting around collectively on our fat, lazy asses while immigrant people come in and do the jobs that nobody wants to do because they don't want to work.
With that being
So-
said, Donald,
Yeah.
Donald, guy
Oh, I
to
agree.
98.
I can agree with your point about the immigrants because we don't want to work, and I can understand that to a point. But I can understand, like one of my sons tell me, why do I need to work harder when I can work smarter? So I understand there's a distinction somewhere when you talk about our youth and how their work ethic is. The socialism thing, that's preached by our own liberal left that I wanted to mention earlier on Biden in his State of the Union address about how he wanted to attack Republicans about working together. Well, Mr. Joe, get your ass over there and work with them far left people that want socialism here because they're just as bad. So that's our own people doing that. And when it comes to the drugs and all that crap, that's half our own damn fault. You can't blame all that on China. Yes, I know the opiate things are over there. I know they do a lot of that. I know there's a lot in Afghanistan, but we don't teach our kids to stay away from that. Like the suicide thing. We don't go tell our kids, hey, that's not the right answer. That just brings more problems. I can tell you I've done it. That just brings, but we don't teach that as parents, as adults to children. We don't have to be a parent to teach a child. Everybody wants to say and have an excuse. No, stop making excuses and do. So all this stuff about China attack, no, we do half that shit to ourselves. But I'm telling you, it's an economic game, and they can do it because if I field you with drugs, guess what? You got nobody to fight. They're too stoned. It's chess pieces China's playing. And we got to stop being naive and thinking it's just going to be one-time little incidents. No.
Yeah, well, you're talking about drugs too. Again, there's no doubt. I know, China may have some hand in that as well. But I mean, the immigrants, as you were saying before, is not the only thing that Mexico imports to us, and drugs is a ton of that. And I think they're a bigger problem with drugs than anyone else. And along the lines of immigration and those people doing jobs that people don't want to do here, what jobs are you talking about? I mean, the jobs that these people are taking are not high-paying jobs that are going to move this country forward. They're not coming over as engineers, manufacturing engineers, people with any actual real skill and talent that I'm looking to hire in my own personal situations. These are people who are generally coming over here, either with zero skills and looking to better themselves off somebody else's hand, or they're taking jobs that are low-skilled jobs that, again, you're right, many of these jobs Americans don't want to do.
Mr. B?
Well, yeah, of course, there are a number of jobs that nobody wants to do, but these immigrant people are coming through. But let's step back to this drug issue again. What goes on over in China, we've been hearing about, they are compounding anything and everything. You could send them the chemical empirical formula for whatever you want, and they'll send it to you. Where's all of this carfentanil and fentanyl coming from? Lord knows it's not being fabricated down in Mexico or in South America.
Yeah,
Well,
we understand the supply point. What's the point you're getting to in Mexico, the drugs?
They're a tool. The Mexican drug cartels are a Chinese tool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Mr. B, if I could just add something real quick. And we brought it in the show, and Donnie has brought it up many a times, and he brought it up today before you came on, is that China, people of Republic of China, their goal in the 21st century is to be the superpower. That's it. Is it going to be by bombs or first aid kits or that's to be determined. But getting back on the cartel, if you were president, would you label them as terrorist organizations?
On the cartels?
Yes. Because
Why
they are,
wouldn't you?
if you look at it.
Why wouldn't you?
Why haven't we? That's the point we're bringing up, you know?
Therein lies the question. Therein lies the question. Why haven't we? Why haven't we had a commander-in-chief that has the kishka to actually turn around and call a spade a spade?
Politics, and they want to vote. That's our political system. You can't do that in our political system. You can't do that in our society right now. You can't tell the truth. You can't tell the whole truth, and you can't be direct with it. So that's why we don't get one.
I say enough of this pussyfooting about all these long-eared jackasses. Call a spade, do what you need to do, and get on with living life.
Yeah,
and doing it right.
Again, when we do the way we see it, is that's the point we try to get to. You know what I mean? Some things are really simple, and it baffles you to sit here and go, "Oh, why haven't they done it that way?"
Wait, okay, why is that simple, Blaze? Why is that simple to label them as a terrorist organization? What's the benefit out of that?
I think
first
there's
of all,
a lot
because
more by
we
their
could do.
definition, that's what they are.
Yeah, no,
I'm not disagreeing with that point. I'm not going to disagree with that point, but if you put them as a terrorist organization, now what? Federal funds and federal resources go that way, do they not?
Well,
yeah.
So that's a better way to use our tax dollars. I would appreciate it if you told me that. I mean, you want a reason to do it, there's a reason. But they won't do it because somewhere along the line, some politicians saying, that pot of money, that pot of 10 million, I was supposed to get 10% of that, and I'm not going to get 10%. So they're not going to vote for it. Or they're going to find some other reason to bitch about it. Because they're worried about their little constituents. This goes back to my point about the betterment of the whole and how they don't sit up there and think about what's best for this nation. They just worry about their little pockets. How about we get some people and start understanding? You got to start thinking what's best for our nation because that's what's going to keep us whole.
Okay. Great points, Donnie. Mr. B, great points. Jim, everybody, the boys. Look, we're gonna sum this up in 5 minutes so we can get on to the next segment. And for me, real quick, if China wants to damage us, stop sending us goods. The shelves will get empty. Yes. We don't build anything anymore, and we don't have manufacturing anymore. That's what I got to add to this piece before the end. Mr. D, go.
And shit, since trying to think of presidents, I want to say Bill Clinton and Joe Biden was around because he was a heavy leader in Senate. They shipped all these fucking jobs out there.
Yeah.
They shipped it to them. Now it's kicking us in the ass. We're supposed to be the smartest country, but sometimes
we're the stupidest.
We don't walk around with a lot of common sense, never mind pride.
Yeah, well,
Jim?
I think it all came back to money and who was lining their pockets and all the deals that were made, and that's it. Because like I've said before, it's one group of assholes that have opposing views. That's all it is. They're all part of the same herd, and none of them give a shit about any one of us. And all they are there to do is make money.
Donald.
Oh, I agree with Jim, and I agree with all the comments. They're just there to make money and do their thing. They're not worried about this nation, this economy, the American citizen. Give two shits. Let China build it all because I got enough money to survive.
Yeah, me and my family's good.
Mr. B.
When a nation that I love, as a matter of fact, I'm very happy that my parents are both in the ground over because what's going on would have been killing them right now. When a nation that I love stands up and pray God, they salute the flag, and the flag has a tag on it that says "Made in China," you got to know something's terribly wrong here. Yeah, we've sent all of our jobs over to China. Yeah, sure. We've done all kinds of things. Why? To make ourselves better, but we're relying on everything else. And look where it's gotten us now. Yeah, we're in trouble. We're in deep, deep doo-doo.
Right now. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stick around for the last half hour for the way we see it with our special guest, Mr. B. And we'll be right back. Stick around.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Neutral Corner on FFN Media. Every Thursday night, 7 to 8, catch my show live. We are talking with legends, we're talking with professionals, we're talking with amateurs, we're also talking about gyms and the different programs they have. You can catch us live on FFN Media, 7 to 8 p.m. Not only can you catch us live, you can actually ask questions in the comments and interact with our guests. Hope to see you then.
Hey guys, Nick Parsons here. Come check my show Unbox Thoughts out live every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. on the FFN Radio Network page.
Hey everybody, thanks for sticking around for more The Way We See It. I am your host, Blazeman, and we have our panel sitting out back in the green room, talking, drinking, having a great old blast. We got to touch base on the Hunter Biden, the Secret Service covering up police probes into Hunter Biden. And with that being said, we're going to bring the panel back in, and our special guest for tonight, Mr. B. And let's bring in my boy, Mr. Jim, Mr. Donnie, Mr. D, and our special guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. B. We got a lot of Mr. B's and D's and D's and stuff like that. It's kind of screwing me up, but no,
It's
just
the
kidding around.
alphabet over here.
Yeah. So recent discoveries now point to the Secret Service, who were accused of covering up their alleged involvement in a police investigation about Hunter Biden. What's the deal with that, Jim? I'm gonna let you open this up.
Well, what I read about it, it was really, unless I'm speaking of a different investigation here, but I think the only one that they were talking about
Hunter
was one where
Biden, go whatever.
yeah, it was like his partner, which was actually his brother's wife at the time, ditched a 38 he had or something in the trash near a school zone, and that's where the FBI and Secret Service were supposedly called into it, and then they denied it. And that's about as much about that situation as I really know. And I don't know if it's just another avenue they're trying to attack this by, but I don't know. I don't know too much more about it, honestly, so I can't comment too much. But I
Mr.
wouldn't doubt it.
D,
Yes, sir.
Mr. D,
Yes, sir.
what you take?
Oh,
The topic is about the Secret Service covering that up. Jim pretty much touched the base of that. But there's more Hunter Biden than just this.
Blaze.
Yeah, well, that's
go ahead,
not what
Mr.
Blaze,
D.
when you first came on the air with the FFF network back in its younger days, you were always harping about the Hunter Biden case, and I'm like, nah, Blaze, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. Well, sir, here on public radio or internet radio, whichever one you want to call it, I apologize to you, Blaze. You were right. You were right on all this Biden bullshit, and I was just trying to blow it off and stuff.
Yeah,
And
but those were good shows because you was
no,
a devil
no,
advocate.
no, brother. But the point I'm trying to make, you were right. You were right
Well, I
about all
knew.
this Biden bullshit, and
Duck, duck,
you
go. All I can say is duck,
You want to
duck,
throw
go,
your
man.
cape on? I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Like I said, duck, duck, go.
I think the
search
bigger
engine.
problem, again, not this particular
I guess
story,
I'm
or if
done.
that's what you're trying to get
No,
to, is
hold
the
on,
fact
Jim.
that.
Hold on. He's still
Sorry.
speaking, bro. But like I said, duck, duck, go, bro. And when you and I were going back and forth back then, I was like, look, you got to get the search engine. They don't. He can't hear. You can't hear me.
Yeah, obviously you can't hear
Hello?
I
you.
can hear you.
Yeah, everybody can hear me, but you, D.
Right. Well,
All right,
while
hold
you're trying
on.
to figure that out, I think the bigger point again is the fact that if it's true that the Secret Service and the FBI did cover the story up, that's where the actual story lies. So if that's what you're getting to, then that's a bigger deal. And again, we've already known this. They covered it up with the story about the laptop to begin with. When they first found it, they didn't release it. It was buried because they didn't want anybody to know about it because the election was right around the corner. So all of this to me is old news, I guess. I it's no surprise to me. So are you back on, Don? D?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just
No, you did right, man. I
Go ahead.
lost total communications. No, the point I was just trying to make, man, this shit is getting so fucking old. I mean, the truth is just spilling out, and it's the media networks can't even hide it anymore.
No, they can't, and that's what I wanted to touch base on too. I mean, look, there's a lot more to this Hunter stuff. They're just giving it to us slow, guys. You know what I mean? And then any little piece of hit, we try to touch base on it because we
Okay.
did say many shows back that we were going to cover this story till the end. And that's when
But
me and you was going back, oh, there's nothing to see here, bro. And I'm like, yeah, I'm telling you, this is going to get bigger, I
hey,
mean,
I just
go
want to
ahead.
add something before Mr. B comes on and stuff, man.
Go ahead.
And I forgot just now. Son of a
All
bitch,
right,
man.
we'll
That
get back.
happens to me, Mr. B.
Mr. B, this happens to him
senior moment.
exactly this time of day.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mr. B. You can jump in on this.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Geritol tends to help these days when you get like this.
How about
I
that
have to
Prevagen?
say-
Does that shit work?
For the first question, I just drink it for the alcohol. That's all. The first
Good.
question I have is: has anybody heard anything out of Hillary's mouth over all of this?
Nope.
No.
Why?
The Secret Service. The Secret Service. There's a reason why they say the word secret in the service, and they're covering up a hell of a lot more than what we're seeing. When you take this situation, you take a look at all of the other surrogate situations that have been going on in the entire grander scheme of things, covering up Biden's kid is another player, a large player, yes, but still, unfortunately, one tooth on the cog of this entire grist mill, so to speak, killed himself in a jail cell.
Epstein.
There's a lot more to this than a story than what meets the eye, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
And I firmly believe that Hunter Biden, he's just,
he could be one on the list.
Yeah.
You
In a big way, yeah.
You can go back to an earlier comment. I honestly think, again, too, just like the big guy, they're all tied together, even with China, all of this stuff. I mean, again, it's just like a gang of people that all know each other. They all know who they are, and they play their little games back and forth. This is probably one of the reasons why they don't label them a terrorist, because they do need their money, they do need their drugs, and they need it all to keep it together. And occasionally shit falls through and somebody finds a laptop and here we are. But it's all a bunch of shit. They all know and cover up for each other. They're all a bunch of lying sacks of shit.
Gentlemen, the double standard is the standard of today. And unfortunately, we are the ones now who have to take and hopefully at some time band together to break the bonds of this horrific line of bullshit that is consuming our nation.
I agree.
And we do that through voting, which they've changed the laws probably to benefit them as Democrats. Huh. Yeah. That means we got to vote for different people and we got to change the mentality. I mean, that's hard to do. You're talking about changing the mentality and the way people think. That's kind of rough now.
Is it really going to work? Is voting really going to work?
It didn't. It hasn't lately.
Yeah.
What's that telling you?
Yeah. It's got to be done another way. Yeah.
Exactly. It's going to be done another way.
But you know something, sir? I got a little time I did in the Army and stuff. And we've been to, and I speak for Donnie and stuff, we've been to war zones and we see how quick it gets to fracture. And as we roll in, it's just it can happen here, and that's the point I want to make. It can happen here. Them buildings, men walking the streets with M16s. Over there in Bosnia was AK-47. That can all happen here, man. Yeah, you may want to say it's electronic bullshit, but that shit can happen here. And we talk about pride and all that stuff, but you got to have pride in your leader. You have to have respect, and that's Joe Biden's biggest problem. He has none, and not even none from his Democratic Party. The best thing we could do is 2 years and just float away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good points. Absolutely.
Of course, that's where he has no. But I don't understand why Biden would even. I mean, I understand why he's running for re-election, but my thing is, I don't understand how in the hell anybody can look at his 2 years as presidency, and he can blame COVID on Trump all he wants to, but COVID dates back to Obama when he was the VP, and they were still messing with this shit, and Fauci and them was sending money to China for them to fuck with it. So I don't want to hear about COVID as an excuse. That's bullshit.
Did you
Touche.
Donnie,
Get him, Donnie. Leave him alone.
I just got a question for Mr. B. Do you get offended by some real English language at times? The F word or asshole word?
I'm pretty sure no after his comment.
Yeah, no, just that chuckle. That's all I wanted to see.
No, sir. I don't. And I've Blaze. You've known me for I don't know how long. I don't sugarcoat shit and tell you it's Christmas fudge.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
And if I'm going to turn around and say, this whole situation is more fucked than a three-legged goat out in the sand pile somewhere, I think you'll get the idea that, no, I don't take much offense to things. If anything, I take offense to people that would hold back.
Beautiful.
Yes, bro. No, you're awesome. You're awesome, Mr. B.
Our economy and our state of the union, what we talk about Biden, I think we're like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, man. We just ain't gonna win because anytime we pick up our 1 foot, we're gonna fall on our ass, right? I just don't understand how somebody could actually think Biden and his Bidenomics or whatever he wants to call it is actually good for our nation. It just can't be. Everything that we focus on is somewhere else. We never, all the things they talk, 90% of it, I don't hear anything about actual results or processes that you're putting in place to help Americans. I just hear a lot of yapping and how these bills are supposed to and they're projected to help us, but I see no action. And that's my biggest problem with this leadership right now. There's no action. You can wish-wash it, talk all you want to, but there is no direct action coming to America. So that's my spill on it.
D, quick reaction to Donnie.
No, I'm totally shit. I'm holding the guide on for Donnie, and I'm walking behind him one step to the left.
Right. Mr. B, your reaction to Donnie. 30
I
seconds.
have absolutely no argument whatsoever about that. I think he's right on the money. And I think America, we're not the world's police force or whatever else. we better start getting our own homes in orders rather than minding everybody else's. Because we are a one-legged
Rule number 5.
ass kicker.
Mr. Jim, 30 seconds.
Again, I can't disagree with anything Donnie or anyone else said. Maybe except for at this point, I think no action from Biden is probably better than action from Biden in the next 2 years, because every time he seems to write a bill or propose something, it costs me money or takes away one more of my freedoms. So better nothing than anything from this man any further, in my opinion. And hopefully our next election turns out better than the previous.
So, moving on. Thanks, gentlemen. That was a great topic. Handled that one very well. Next one. We got 15 minutes left before the end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, touch base on here. Here's my thing. And I want to move on to the 5 lingering questions over Ohio's train development and toxic spill. Look, did we literally like chemically nuke this town with that derailment and that spill? Go ahead, Donnie.
No, they didn't nuke it.
No.
Toxic too. I'm going with it, Blaze. I'm going with it, Blaze.
Okay, Donnie.
You didn't nuke it, but you did do some dirty, damaging effects, and the burn pit lawsuits that are going to come later are going to cripple Railroad Pacific. So that usually ripples down back to us, is going to just make the price of products so much more. But my problem with it is, and I agree with the governor from Ohio, I don't give a shit if it's 1 cart of hazardous material. I mean, I know I relate a lot of stuff to military service, but I know it doesn't apply in civilian world. But that whole hazmat class I went to, that applies on both ends, and that's supposed to be universal, right? I mean, and you're not going to tell this dude that you got 4 or 5 carts of this shit running through his state? There's nobody that knows this. It's not labeled. I just don't understand how they could say that in that article you posted, and then they burn it all off because that's the way they can get rid of it. So it's got this smoke. So now all that toxin and all that chemical, whatever way the wind carried it, you know what I mean? I just don't understand how we operate that way, but yet you want to sit in front of us and tell us how we need to get electric and get our gear right. Shit, just like Mr. B and Jim and everybody said, get your own back door straight. Mr. Buderberg, your Department of Transportation guy, hey, get back on the horse, man, and get to riding, because you fucking up, bro.
Fucking day, Donnie. I don't know why you guys
I want to translate that from Donnie.
Okay.
That was a Buttigieg.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever, man. Infrastructure.
Donnie, excellent points. Mr. B, you had your hand up first.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm going at this because I spent 10 years in the fire service, and I went through hazmat classes and so forth, and I've seen some hazardous materials incidents and so forth. And what we saw here is when they decided to take and light this thing off and create that large plume, what they've done, they've taken that plume, is they've taken these chemicals, whatever they are, and they have now spread them over God knows how far, because wherever the wind carries it, carries the plume and all of that, and it's going to settle up here in Merrimack, New Hampshire. Most recently, there's been a company called Saint-Gobain or something like Saint-Gobain, and they've had a thing where an entire area as well, not just a town, but I mean, basically an entire large section of southern New Hampshire has been contaminated with a plume.
So you're getting some of this smoke up there?
I'm sorry?
You're getting the smoke?
No. I'm just saying they created a smoke. God knows where it's going, and wherever the particles wind up settling over is going to contaminate whoever's land it is.
Right.
So we don't know how long it's going to take. You could have, in another 6 months, you have the paint falling off of cars from 30 miles around there or whatever else.
Right. We don't know what the chemicals were, do we?
And if they don't know, they're supposed to have placards. They're supposed to have manifests.
Right.
They should
all right.
know.
Let Mr. J in on this one, Mr. B. Mr. Jim?
Well,
Oh,
again,
I'm sorry.
as
This
far
is-
as we
I'm
know,
fucking up, yeah.
it was what's called vinyl chloride. And that is used for manufacturing a whole array of plastics. One of the main
Yes.
ones is PVC, vinyl fluor, something chloride. I can't think of it. Vinyl chloride, duh. And it's in a liquid form. When it's in a liquid form, and what happens is if you burn it, it creates hydrogen chloride. And hydrogen chloride floats up in the air. It attracts water molecules, and it actually creates hydrochloric acid. And that hydrochloric acid pulls together, and that's what's in those big, giant, dark clouds that's floating around. And that's what all those storm clouds are. So when that rains down, it will absolutely be acid rain, and it's probably going to contaminate all the shit that it touches. To what level, I have no idea because I'm not there. And only people who can
water
test that are
supply,
people on the
water
ground.
supply,
Water supplies is
efficiently.
actually already, I believe, I saw maybe today there was contamination in the Ohio River. I don't know what the ppm was, but I'm pretty sure they already found that. And there's a whole again, you can read this. I don't know. I think it's 1 ppm parts per million for anybody who's not familiar with that.
Okay,
Most
we're not
people
teaching
are.
a class. Go
Whatever.
ahead.
You asked the question, and I'm telling you
going.
the answer. And there's only so much, I think, in an 8-hour span you're allowed to be in. It's something like 1 to 2 ppm, I believe. And these people were told to go back into their homes like just over 24 hours later. And they said it was fine. So who knows what it really was and what's going to
people are
happen
gonna
to
get
those
fucking
people.
cancer.
Here's another one. The other chemical that is released when you burn vinyl chloride is called phosgene, I believe. And phosgene was actually used to clear trenches in World War I. You can look that up. And that's another one of these chemicals that will pretty much kill you. And that's
nerve
actually
gas.
heavier. Excuse me?
It's a nerve gas.
Yes. And I believe, if I'm correct, you can look this up too. If I may be wrong on some of this, I'm like 99% sure. But it is actually heavier than the air, so it will sit on the ground. So as they were burning it, that's why they evacuated so many people, because the phosgene would actually be on the ground, and it has a certain amount of time it has to dissipate before they can allow people back in. So yeah, it's probably going to be in the water. It's going to be in the ground, and who knows how far this will travel. You know, it's absolutely
It's
absurd.
fucking nuts, right?
Yeah, and
This is insane.
Buttigieg, he had this conference that he was at, and he took the time to address diversity in the workforce. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. It was a good sound cut. But yeah, he addressed a bunch of other things along with diversity in the workforce, and never even mentioned it. This is the guy that's our transportation secretary. So I don't know. Again, just goes to show how much these people care and how transparent they are with us. So that's all I got to say about it.
Look, people are going to have cancer in this town. There's going to be a lot of. I want to just talk about what Donnie had said. How do you not mock these trains? How do you not inform the towns or the cities that this train's going to be going through to your local fire chief or whatever chemical unit you got in that city or town, and just have them on alert because this train is coming through their town or city that has actual harmful chemicals on it, that if something catastrophic was to happen, they'd be a little bit prepared. Donnie.
No,
I
that's
can
right.
I can go on this one, Donnie, please.
Go, Demon.
Thank you. The manifest of these chemicals, I'm pretty sure the Ohio Department of Transportation and every other state that them chemicals went through, they had to get cleared through the Department of Transportation. We do it for fucking tanks. I'm pretty sure they do it for chemicals. And go ahead, Donnie.
Demas, the article that got posted up in the messenger that we shared,
Yes,
that governor was saying that no, there was no notice of that shit coming through his state borders.
I find
Nothing,
that.
no notice from nowhere. I
I'm
find that
sorry.
hard to believe too, but
I
I'm
do
just
too,
saying.
Donnie. And
I'm gonna go
especially
for
at a
both ends.
corporate level.
Exactly. How can you tell me that there is no information passed on that this shit was coming through your borders, that is traveling by ground?
Well, we're only going to have
I remember having to do convoys for training purposes with the 88 Might School Demons. If I had a tanker going that way, I had to tell him I had a tanker going out to McGregor Range or wherever the hell we was training at. I had to put that in my op order and all this other shit.
Yes, sir.
You can't tell me that that doesn't happen on the civilian sector.
Of course it
Somebody's
does.
not telling the truth. And
Thank you.
somewhere it thinks, are you trying to hide something because you knew that rail was bad? What are you trying to hide?
Right. Here's my take. Here's my take, real quick, if I could. Like D was basically saying a little bit. D was saying, okay, this comes across his desk, and they probably do this a lot. There's probably is tons of trains that have some kind of chemical on it. So this is the way I'm seeing it was like nothing. Something that was put on his desk. He's like boom, or his assistant, or whatever, and it was just not a big deal to them. And unfortunately, this train was derailed. And what I'm trying to say is this is going to hurt a lot of American people. But this is something now to change.
Right,
Now
so who?
it should have to be a protocol now.
Mr. B.
These
Well,
fucking things should be
there'll be a
labeled.
new,
All
there'll
these
be a
things
new,
should be
a new
labeled, and it-
regulation.
right. Well, I think this would be a regulation that would be definitely be worth the passing.
Not
Mr. B.
disagreeing.
The problem is, and there's something a lot of people don't realize how large the United States of America is, and the North American continent is, and that there are trains with like this carrying things like this, or even more dangerous things, all over the place, all the time. So to notify each individual town that a train is going to be passing through, carrying this and that and whatever else, they would be in a paper storm in 1 week. They would probably have more paper used up than the trees they've got in the Black Forest. So they do have marking systems. They do have, or supposed to have, redundant systems so that the train officials know what's on it and where it's going.
Yeah, I get that, but
Placards
those
on things.
but
A
those
system like
trains
this
should be
trying
painted
out-
all like yellow, the brightest yellow you could get in black, and saying
Well, they might have
toxic or
been
pick
before
the
they burnt to the
crossbones
ground.
on it. I don't. No, they weren't. They weren't. Go ahead, Mr. D.
Well, my point being, they have placards on them exactly the same like we have. If you're driving down the highway and you see 1972 or 1075 or whatever else, that are supposed to be on all of these containers that are carrying dangerous materials on the rail system. So there's more than one way besides printed material and notifications. Everybody should know what's on there, but unfortunately, to have a notification system that would notify each individual town when a train is crossing through, that would be just unrealistic. It would be nice, yes, but it's unrealistic.
Absolutely. Hey, Mr. B, it's been a pleasure for you to come on, and so you think you're going to be ready for your show Wednesday?
Sharp as a tack, my friend.
Okay, so Mr. B really wanted to come on tonight so he can get a feel for how everything works and what we do things and all that stuff like that. It was a pleasure, Mr. B, and I will talk to you. Obviously, see you tomorrow and get your show, the premiere of politicking.
Politicking with Mr. B.
Politicking with Mr. B. Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All
Thank
precious,
you.
wonderful people.
Good luck
Have a good
tomorrow.
evening.
We'll see you tomorrow.
I'll be listening.
Mr. B. Yes, sir. I'll be attacking. Just joking.
All right, so the Mr. B show tomorrow, 7 and 8 p.m. Right here on the FFN Radio Network. Man, did we suck the first hour? I got to say that. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're usually better. Yeah.
More technical difficulties.
Yeah. Well, that's what
We're
life
gonna
does.
talk to the producer.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get on him real quick.
Need
Anyways,
to train up.
I don't know what that is.
Hey, so on this chemical too, the SDS, and I just looked it up on the
MSDS.
yes, polyvinyl chloride safety data sheet.
Yeah.
It, at the HMS ratings, health is 0, flammability is 1, reactivity is 0, and personal protection is E. Have to look at personal protection.
No
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you
but
start.
I think
Yeah,
that
I don't know if you
governor.
got the right stuff, buddy.
No, well, I just googled it because the point I wanted to make was the SDS, and that's the Bible for the product.
What did you? Yeah, you said what? What did you look up?
SDS for polyvinyl chloride.
Okay, but I think that polyvinyl chloride is PVC. That's a pipe. We're looking for vinyl chloride, which is the chemical they use to make that. Different things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It looked like they had a little bit of markings on it. Yep, Donnie.
No, they probably had the markings. They probably had the paperwork. My whole thing is, I just don't understand that what governor would come out and say he didn't know. That just doesn't seem right. Somebody knew.
Fuck yeah.
The trains don't just go like Mr. B was saying. They don't just run through shit through across the country. Say, hey, we're gonna go do what we want to do. They have rules and regulations too. So
Right.
I just don't understand how somebody could say they didn't know. I just it boggles my mind.
Look at
You know,
this.
and you
This
got
is a mess. Look what
yeah,
you're looking at. What a
what
mess.
do you think's going to
Yeah, it's
happen when the train
unbelievable.
goes? This is where we talk about people and being ignorant. You know that run a train. The train ain't going to stop on a dime. Neither does a rig. I mean, we got to understand when that train, if it comes off, it's creating all kinds of havoc. You got how many thousands and thousands of pounds rolling at 40, 50 miles an hour? Shit. Come on now.
Nah, bro, and I'm always amused how people, when they come up to the railroad crossing, they want to be right up to the gate, and I'm like, you fucking idiot! If that fucking
Hell
thing
no.
jumps track, you're dead.
Well, if
Just
anything
to
falls off
be.
it,
I'm sorry.
if anything falls off it, something
Exactly,
comes
dude.
loose.
No, but
It's
I'm
all
just.
kinds of stuff.
But
Yeah,
that's the society we live in. It's go,
right.
go, go, and not think, for
Mm-mm.
your own safety.
Right. And that's gonna be the death of us as a society. We're gonna kill ourselves
Remember,
with
this
the
is an experiment.
jackassery we do. All
With that being
civilizations
said,
are
hey,
experiment.
right. You're getting a little fucking depressing for me there, Donnie. Damn.
No, I'm just telling you reality, man.
Yeah, I know it's a reality. We don't have to
But
talk
you
about it.
just proved the point we're talking about with our society and the mental health status that we're so weak mentally. We can't handle
That's true.
shit.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. I agree.
Someone trying to tell you don't know stress. I don't know stress. I'm pretty sure I know some stress.
I hear you, brother.
RPG's
No,
calling. I still got to figure out how to get supplies to the troops and get the quick reaction force out. I got to figure out how to get the recovery guys. Oh, the mortars are still coming in. I think I know about some stress, brother.
touche.
Touche.
And you're
All right,
right. You're right. Society is fucking, everybody's scared now. You know what I mean? I feel you, Donnie. Thank you for that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Hope you enjoyed the show. And don't forget to catch us next Tuesday from 7 to 9 right here on the FFN Radio Network. Peace and love to everybody out there. Be safe.